Greetings and salutations, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, Amateur Hour, with Fraggle. And this time, the Kerbals have decided they want to know even more about Kerbin, which gives them a chance to test new equipment, new ideas, and fixes to existing problems. So today, they're going to throw this thing up in the air. It's a very simple little probe. It's supposed to come back down to Kerbin at some point in the not too near future. So it's got a return. It's got some fuel there for return, and also to trim up any trajectory issues once we are up in orbit. It's got a couple of little things to do on the ground if it gets that far. But mostly this is an orbital item. We have the Scansat radar, which has now been fixed. The Kerbals realized that there was a communications problem before, and it wasn't operating as it should. And then we also have the multi-spectral sensor, which we're also going to throw up into orbit. First of all, we are actually going to adjust this so we don't deploy the parachute by accident. Alright, there we go. Okie dokie. So, and we got some solar panels, obviously, because this needs power once it's up there. Parachute, landing feet, just in case. More solar panels. And more solar panels, because this thing uses a lot of power. Well, to be honest, I could get rid of these ones, couldn't I? Honestly, I mean, they're not needed, because I've got these ones here. Now the reason I stuck these on the side is because SAS and the on the top here, we've got this inline reaction wheel. Between SAS and the reaction wheel, it uses a lot of power. So yeah, I figured these were easier to slap on there than a couple of batteries, and guaranteed more more charge. And these guys here are the Globe 5 solid rocket boosters. I've got them set to thrust limit 55, which gives me more burn time, so I can get a higher altitude before I have to get rid of them. But anyway, off we go. So for this particular project, oh hello. I'm getting some issues here. Oh well. So for this particular project, we have to put this thing in a polar orbit, which is a lot more difficult than it seems. Well, not more difficult. It's the same thing. You fire it up in the air and tilt it over and put it in orbit. But it takes a lot more energy to get it there. But let's just get on with it. So all I have to do is tilt this thing north. Just control its axis a little bit. For some reason it wants to pitch to the left. It's a nice cloudy day today. My goodness. Just trying to sort of feather these until they run out so I can get there. There we go. See, now we got that guy going. I can trim this rocket up even more. Now one of the things I've discovered about having this huge nose on here is you can't throw this thing around like you could before with a smaller head or smaller cone, because in the atmosphere it obviously the wind catches it and you end up facing the wrong way and things go wrong very rapidly, and suddenly you're propelling yourself towards the ground at a very worrying speed. But I just want to kind of try and nose this thing over to about a 45, get it lined up with north if I can. So I'm just feathering the controls here. We're going to try and get this up my apoaps to about 80 before I stop the burn. Alright, that's the end of that one. And the next one. Alrighty, so we're slowly getting there. 70. I want to try and get this thing into an orbit of like 250 to 260. So 77, 78, 79, 80. Right. So I've got a little bit of time to play around and create my node. Not long though. Alright, there's my periapse. I just need to get that up. 49, 63, 67. Well, that'll work as a guesstimate. Alright, 48, 47, 46. Alright, so we are just going to commit our burn now, because this is a long burn. Because we've got to add a lot of thrust to this thing, because we're not taking off in line with the way the planet is spinning, so we're not getting that kick. So it takes a lot more energy to get this thing into a stable orbit. So obviously you want to start the burn a lot sooner than your node, and preferably a lot sooner than your apoapse. So our periapse is going down rapidly. So now I'm going to cut that. Nope. Needs more. Oh, there we go. Ah, I was looking at the wrong number again. Alright, 72. So that puts me into a stable orbit. So I want to get the apoapse up. So up here, I'm going to add me another maneuver node. And I want to get this, like I said, I want to get this up to about 250. So that's 230, 235, 256, 252, 245, nice. 247. I mean, I can eyeball it. I can adjust. I can feather the engine. There we go. That'll work. I can feather the engine while it's firing and just use my HUD to get it to where I need it. But I'm now gonna deploy that so we get some sunlight hitting our solar panels here. Actually, I don't need to extend them yet because I've still got these ones on here, which is why I put them there. Yeah, it's smart, huh? Okay, so now we're going to line this thing up with our target. We've got 2 minutes to burn. Alrighty, so we're about 35 seconds out. I am going to do my quick save, make sure I'm lined up with my target. So I've got a burn of approximately 3 seconds. I'm going to do it when I hit my periapse, so I'm going to do it, well, just before I hit my periapse, I'm going to make this burn. So I'm just kind of, using this to set up my target, but I'm actually using this as my burn indicator. Alright. Yeah, 260. So now I can ditch this guy. And when we get around here, I'm gonna add another one, and we are going to use this to circularize our orbit. So I want to get it up to 250 as well. Sorry, 260 rather. Alrighty, about 40 seconds out, so we are going to line this sucker up. Hit our magic button. Where is it? There it is. The one with the F and the 5 on it. And we are gonna wait for a moment before we commit ourselves to our burn. Wait, where's Kerbin gone? Oh, it's above me, isn't it? I've lost the planet. Okay, so 5, 10, about 5 seconds, I think. Should do. Okay. $58, 62. That's good enough for me. I could probably do better than that, but I can't be bothered. I don't need this to be quite that precise. It's not going to be relaying information or anything. Okay, so now we are going to point this thing at the sun. Oh, actually what we are going to do, actually, before I get too carried away with this. Back the other way. It's a lot heavier with this engine on the back of it. I guess I could probably get rid of it. Now let me check something here. Well, it's pretty polar. I mean, it's off by a couple of degrees. I mean, I've seen worse. I probably should push it around so it's along here, right? That doesn't matter. As long as I'm going over the poles, it doesn't matter. And it looks like I am. Or as close as I can be bothered to get it. So yeah, I don't need really to trim it up too much. So we will just deploy the panels here. There we go. Panels deployed. They are on the sunward facing side of the probe here, or the scanner, the surveillance system. We're just going to point it right at the sun. There we go. Oh, there. Pointed right at the sun. Oh, look. There's the moon. Oh, and right there, Minmus. Right next to it. You can probably barely see it in the video, huh? That's pretty cool. Okay, so why did we come up here? Well, we were going to do some surveying of the planet. So we shall start our radar altimeter scan sensor, and we will also start a multi-spectral sensor, and we will hope that we have enough power to do this. Yeah, we do. Okay, so now those two are going. I can hit this guy. I think it's this guy. This guy here. And look, is now imaging the planet. But for some reason it's going along with them. Oh, there we go. Now it's making its way up. It's gonna do this. And it will slowly record the planet and the topology. We can get it to tell us the biomes as well. So we can just let that go. I can just sit up here, and once it's done collecting all the data, once it's got 100% of the data, we can come back up and we can transmit that data back for science. But that's it. Yeah, I overestimated the fuel a little bit, so I've still got just a teeny tiny bit of fuel left. But I got plenty of energy now, plenty of power by the look of it. As long as it stays facing the sun, everything should be perfectly fine. It's going to take a little while for this thing to get all the data. It's got to make several passes around the planet. You know, it's going to do these thin stripes. The closer to the planet you go, obviously the wider the stripe it's going to get. But the more unreliable the data, and if you get too close, it just doesn't work at all. So I can just leave this up here and go do something else. So, having discovered the North Pole, it is time to send out a team and see if we can locate the South Pole. Maybe take a couple of measurements and some samples and see if the South Pole has the same kind of magnetic influence as the North Pole does. We're just going to move our stuff out of the way. So, we'll turn on SAS, give her some throttle, and away we go. Now immediately this thing seems to be pulling. Oh goodness me! Woo! Not quite sure what's going on there. But that's fine because we do need to swing around, make her head south. She handles like a brick, but she's fast. That's all that matters. Bill, once again, not too happy about the idea of this flight. Jeb, on the other hand, Jeb is enjoying every single minute. So we want to get this thing up into the middle atmosphere at least. After a few hours of flight, the boys are finally inside of some land, and it's looking very cold. Trimming the vehicle is becoming extremely difficult at this speed and altitude, but Jeb is doing his best. Bill, on the other hand, has finally started to relax and is enjoying the ride, being propelled through the middle atmosphere at speeds that he really wouldn't want to know. And it is now time to shut down the engines and start bringing her down as we start to approach what appears to be the bottom of the world. Time to descend, and Jeb has to bleed off some speed lest we overshoot like the last pilot. On come the air breathers. We're gonna bring them back to just above idle. $300. 200, and the engines to idle. 100 feet. We shall arrest our downward momentum a little bit. 60, 50, 40, 30, 20. Touchdown. The nice, soft, gentle landing that Jeb had promised Bill. And now, Bill gets to go for a walk. I told you I'd get you there, says Jeb, as Bill walks slowly towards the very bottom of his planet. He's feeling like the world is watching him, as if perhaps maybe even the weight of the world is upon his shoulders, and this time he is determined to walk around the entire planet without falling over. Oh no! There we are. He's made it. All the way around again. Bill, the first Kerbal to circumnavigate the planet, both at the north and south poles. Look at that smile on his face. Time to plant your flag and leave your mark. It is truly a great day. Whoops. We have finally discovered the south pole of the planet and confirmed that there is indeed a strange magnetic field emanating from this location as well. And the gimbal on the aircraft had a very hard time locating this particular part of the planet. It's going to take an EVA report for absolutely no reason at all. I don't think a spacesuit was entirely necessary to get here, was it? Well, Bill, I have to disagree. It's very, very cold here. Take another surface sample for almost no reason at all. This isn't really solid ground, is it? You got a sample, but feared to dig any deeper because of the startling cracking sound the ice made. You try not to think back on how you landed here. Well, Bill, you didn't really land here. You just kind of drove this way. Well, Bill is going to make his way back towards the aircraft, and they are going to attempt to return to the Space Center, although they don't have a great deal of fuel left on board, so this is going to be another case of, hey fellas, can you come top us off? So let's head back and we'll check and see how much data our satellite has retrieved. So our little satellite is busy collecting data. I think we are going to adjust the altitude. We're going to take it up to about 300. So what I'm going to do is ditch that fuel tank here, and then we'll make those adjustments. So there he goes. Bye-bye! We will enable our little engine here. So we are going to go to our peri-apps. We're going to add a maneuver. Take this guy up to 300. Wait, what am I at now? 260, so that's a little much. 343. 323. 319. Well, we'll eyeball it when we get to the node. Alrighty, 10 seconds to our burn window, and we got a 30 meter per second change, so we are just gonna Hit that. So that's taken us up to 320. Okay, I can deal with that. So we will kill this guy here. And we will go around and we'll do the same on this side. Okay, that looks good to me. So when we get around there, we can adjust our altitude. Oops. Ooh, this thing moves a little better now that rocket is removed. It's about 10 seconds, so we will make our adjustment. 280, 290, 3, 10, 17, 18, 19, 20. There we are. 320 and 320. There we go. Good enough for me. That'll work. So now we are going to make sure we shut the engine down. We're going to make sure that we point this thing towards the sun. Wait. More to this way. There we go. Alrighty, and we are now updating our map again. Our little satellite is now progressing up this way. So we should be able to look at the different biomes. And we will also be able to look at the altimetry data. And the black is obviously the sea and the mountains are white. And we've got the slope data, which tells us where we can't land. So once this is done, this data should provide enough information about Kerbin and reassure the R&D department that the satellite does indeed work and we can dispatch it to the moon and start looking for a landing location. So, tune in for another relatively exciting episode, but until then, I will see you anon.